Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books. Forgot the title of my channel. I'm doing this my second video. My phone just cut off abruptly. Yeah, it's going, okay. Yeah, so I don't know, my phone has been getting quirkier and quirkier about recording. I think I'm going to have to go to an actual camera instead of using the phone and then maybe downloading. My birthday's coming up. I might ask for that because it's kind of frustrating. I'd just been chatting and then it just shut off. The phone just shut off for some reason. So anyway, let's see if I can get this going. I just wanted to mention I didn't put up an update last week. I was trying to record me reciting Lochinvar. I just couldn't recite it without blundering. And I didn't really want it to be of me. I wanted to have like some kind of a nice set to look at or something. And I didn't know how to do that. And I ran out of time, so I didn't put anything up last week. So this is a 2-week update. And I better talk fast because I'm afraid my camera's going to shut off. So March 2nd or 3rd, I finished David Copperfield. I was listening to that on LibriVox. Highly, highly recommend that version. It's version 2, read by Tad Tynes. And he was great. It was really well done. I really, really enjoyed it. It was my 6th time reading it, I realize. It's just so full of nostalgia. I love all the interesting characters. David Copperfield is my favorite Dickens. I really, really enjoyed that very much. And then I also finished, for March Mystery Madness, I was reading the 2nd publication of Miss Marple. And I had downloaded a story. I thought it was renamed Death by Drowning, but that was just one story. So I read that on my Kindle. I downloaded it there, but then I realized I'd made a mistake. So I got this out of the library. In the United States, it's called The Tuesday Club Murders. And it's sort of a loose compilation of short stories. What she does is she has people sitting around telling stories. And I think Agatha Christie is an excellent short story writer. I think short stories, you really have to have the structure right, and you have to get the characterization in right away. And you need to be very careful with how you develop the plot, because it's in such a short amount of space. But I think she's really good at that. I do find, though, reading too many short stories by one author gets repetitive, and I start blurring the different stories. I had read The Thumb Mark of St. Peter before, so I remembered that story. I'm not really good at remembering mysteries, but I remembered that one. So I really enjoyed reading them. It's kind of a weird world. Everybody happens to know somebody who got, poisoned or something. Poison figures heavily. But still, it was really enjoyable, and I really like the character of Miss Marple. I really enjoy her. So that was a fun read for March Mystery Madness. And then on my Kindle, and this was for the Irish reading challenge, I read Some Experiences of an Irish RM, and that's a really fun book. It's hilarious in places, and the writing is just lovely, and the characters are fun. There's lots of fox hunting and drinking. And the Irish are all just kind of, well, the main character is Major Sinclair Yates. He's Irish born, but he's in the English Army, and he is a major, but he's not going anywhere in his career, and he's decided he needs to get out because he really wants to marry his fiancée, Philippa. And they've been engaged for like 5 years or something, so they really want to get married. And I think in the book it mentions his 38th birthday, so he's really felt stuck for a while, and he really wants change. So he takes this job as a RM, which I thought meant rural magistrate, but it's resident magistrate in Ireland, and I think it might be in County Cork or near Cork, but in a little town. He's out in the country, and it's all about the crazy characters he meets. So the Irish are really portrayed as being very sly and always pulling a fast one on you. They're full of scams, and it's just a challenge to them. If you have a rule, they don't take it as a rule. They take it as a challenge, how they can get around it or bend the rules. And so there's lots of funny incidences, and some not so funny, really. But yeah, it's really, and the character of his fiance, who he marries spoiler, halfway through the book, is really delightful. She's like a great foil to his character. So yeah, it's a charming book. I highly recommend it. It was written by two women. So these two women, I think they really characterize this man really well. Because sometimes people think that, it's hard for authors to write books from the other sex's perspective. And I've just recently read two books. So Some Experiences of an Irish RM, where the main character, the two authors are women, the main character is a man. And then I read Till We Have Faces, and the main character is a woman, and C.S. Lewis is the author, although I do think his wife Joy helped him. And I think he did a really good job of presenting a woman. So, I don't know, I quibble with that thing that somehow men can't write women and women can't write men. I don't think so. But anyway, so yeah, Some Experiences of an Irish RM. That was my contribution to the Irish Reading Challenge. And I think it was also supposed to be our comedy book of the month. But that seems to be on hold because Mark at Book Time with Elvis is very distracted by many other things, including Ukrainian refugees in a school and that sort of stuff. Whoa, what was that? Did you hear that? I think it was snow. We had a snowstorm yesterday. I think snow is melting and falling off the roof right here, if you heard that crash. Anyway, so those were the three books that I finished. I started this book, The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up again. I was interested. I got to page 77, 72. But I don't know who it's written for. 'Cause it's not middle grade. I think maybe it's young adult. It's a little too gory. It's a little too horror for me. It's a little gory, and there's a little too much sexual references for me to see it as middle grade. And the writing is very good, and it's very clever, but she's got a little device in it that I find really irritating. She has these characters interrupting all the time, and they're just snarky to each other, and I don't like the way it breaks things up, and I hate that snarky sense of humor. That doesn't appeal to me. So I put it down. I thought I wasn't going to abandon it. I didn't mean to, but somehow it's been a week and I haven't picked it up. So I don't know if I'm going to finish this or not. For my audio right now, I'm listening to Don Quixote along with the group. I'm always a little bit behind because I started a couple days late, and then life has been topsy-turvy here, all kinds of reasons, and so I just haven't been reading or listening. I haven't had the dedicated time where I can just listen. So, but I am enjoying it. I'm up to chapter 20, and I think a lot of people are up to chapter 30 already. I'm really enjoying listening to the Ormsby translation on LibriVox. Now, at first I did not like this guy's reading, but I've gotten used to it. Now I am appreciating his reading. He's expatriate in Maine, and he says it like before, at the beginning of each chapter, and at the end of each chapter. And really, there is no need to be that repetitive. But he's got kind of a, I don't know, his voice reminds me a little bit of Robert Aubrey Davis, if you ever listen to classical music, WETA. So it sounds a little bit like that. But it's grown on me. At first I didn't like it, but his voice has grown on me. So I'm enjoying that on the audio. I just haven't gotten to it in the way that I thought I would. But I like to look up things when I can in this translation and see how different it is. And I've even gone back to the Starkey abridged translation and looked up scenes in that. So it's kind of neat. I always like that when something's in translation, to read different translations of it just to see how they did it, because they emphasize different things. So and now I've started reading The Breaking Point by Mary Roberts Reinhardt. This is also a reread. I'm doing a lot of rereads. Don Quixote is a reread. Some Experience of the Irish RM is a reread. David Copperfield was a reread. Lots of rereads. But I'm enjoying them. But The Breaking Point is so good. I forgot how good it is. It's really, really good. Interesting mystery. Really well written. I am thoroughly enjoying that one. That is something that Janelle at Too Fond of Books is hosting a read-along. I think it starts today. it's for 2 weeks. I started the book a couple of days ago, so I think I'm like 40% through already, but I'm really enjoying that. So right now, yeah, and I'm still doing City of God. Did I bring that here? No, I'm still doing my City of God read along, and for Lent I started reading along with a bunch of people Athanasius's On the Incarnation of the Word, which is a difficult read, but I don't think it's too long. It's a little bit harder to read than I find than City of God, and I gotta read that today because I gotta catch up. And I guess that's it. So 10 minutes. So maybe I should stop now. So hopefully next weekend I will be able to give you another update. I think that's it for now. I want to round up some more middle grade books, since I don't know if I'm going back to that one or not. Oh, another thing that's really distracting me, I should mention this, is that it's March and I always kind of lose focus on reading because I start thinking about the garden. So when I should be reading, I've been looking at seed catalogs and planning my garden. And I started some seeds, and I've ordered some more things, and yeah. So the garden is sort of distracting me. All right, that is it from me. I hope you're doing well, and happy reading.